Thank you for joining us today for our micro training session on testing resources with Arizona Electronic Resources. So before I get started, I always like to give a brief overview of, how do we fund these resources? Well, we pay for them along with 15 counties, 15 county library districts in Arizona. We spend about $1.2 million on the resources that are available. And today we're going to be covering two of those, which is Learning Express and Testing Education Reference Center. So we hope that you use these resources since you're paying for them with your property taxes. So we encourage you to use them and reach out to folks in your communities. So a lot of times people ask, well, who, what, why? Who is this for? What is it? And why don't we just go to the internet? Well, the who is yourself. It can be your patrons, it can be students, it can be teachers, it can be fellow librarians, city council members, it can be everyone that you share these resources with. And what are the resources? Well, the resources we're going to be covering today are going to be resources that deal with testing and education, such as testing for math, SAT, those types of tests. And then finally, why do you want to use these resources? Why don't I just go to the internet and do Google? Well, we all know that libraries are looked at as trusted institutions. And because we subscribe to these services, they are vetted, they have been prepared specifically for the task at hand. In this case, is testing and education. And oftentimes, some things you get online might come from a nefarious source. Who knows where it's from? So we encourage folks to go to your library and see the resources they have because they are trusted and they're made specifically for libraries and library patrons. So we're going to be looking at two resources today. The first one is EBSCO's Learning Express Library, and it's going to feature online tutorials, practice tests, and ebooks to help you and your patrons increase their knowledge. There's also a job for search feature. I'm not going to be really focusing on that, but there are also workplace skills resources. You can build your skills in reading, writing, math, and basic science. There's career certification and career exam preparation tools, college and graduate school entrance tests like GEDs or some of the medical testing that you can um, choose to. And then we're also going to be looking at Gale's Testing and Education Reference Center. And they're changing the name to Gale Presents Peterson's Test Prep. Right now, we're in a transition where they're going to be changing the interface, but most of the content will remain the same. And again, it's another patron tool that you can use for standardized test prep, researching, and you can use it to look for colleges or graduate schools, tuition assistance. You can also use it to help explore different careers. You can help folks in your community, turn their goals into realities using these resources. So, and there's also resumes, cover letters, interviewing, and networking. But today I would be focusing mostly on the test prep instead of career resources. So, one thing I always try to stress, it's the takeaway from this is understanding how to navigate within the resource. And then today it probably won't be full text, but we're going to be looking at some PDFs. I always try to focus on making sure you have access to full text resources, not just an abstract or a citation. And then also the location. Where can you locate this resource at your local public library? Do you know where your local public library's website is? If you are an employee at a local public library, do you know where it is on your library's page? I say that because a lot of staff do not know where these resources are located. So familiarize yourself with where you can find these resources. Again, whether at your public library, at your or your own library's website. So I'm just going to be looking at a couple of screenshots because I want to devote most of our time into going into the actual resource. The first resource is a Learning Express Library. This is the screenshot. They have what they call career center or centers. So there's a career prep center, a high school equivalency center, college admissions, a school center, college students, adult core skills, computer skills, and then a Spanish language center. Now, for you librarians in the audience, what you can do, you can work with your staff or with me, and you can actually create links. So if you wanted to create a link to a specific GED exam or maybe a career center, we can do that. So it makes it a little bit easier to highlight the resources. When we go to the website, we're also going to be looking at what's highlighted at the bottom of the page. It's highlighted in yellow, administrators and librarians. That's where you can get tools and tips and view videos or fact sheets to help you after this session is over. The next resource we're going to be looking at is Testing Education Reference Center. And again, we're going to be diving into that, do a live tour of it. And I'm not going to be focusing on the career tools. I'm going to be focusing mostly on testing and prep resources. So let's go ahead and jump into the resource. I'm going to switch my screen. If you just want to hold on just 1 second. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and jump into Learning Express Library first. And you see this is from the Phoenix Public Library's website. So I want to scroll down before we jump into the resources because there's so much. I want to highlight the administrators and librarians resources. So I'm going to click on that. And here you get a lot of resources. I'll click on the help guides. And you're taken to a page with resources on different content areas. So there are video tutorials. You can get a promotional kit. What I like about the promotional kit, I'm going to go ahead and click on it, is they give you printable materials, bookmarks, handouts, posters. Of course, we're in the middle of COVID right now, so maybe these wouldn't be appropriate, but they also provide resources for social media that you might want to post on your social media accounts. So I'm just going to go back to Learning Express, and how I do that is I click on Home. Now, something else you can do is you can go to centers, and I can just click on a specific center. Well, let's go ahead and look at the school center, and I'll click on elementary school. So you can go in and you can take different types of tests or practice resources. So let's just I'll click on geometry. And I'm just going to start the test. And what's nice is it'll tell you the areas that you're not performing well in. So slow little loading. And it gives you information on how to take the test. You can do a practice test. I'm going to click on this one, view the answers to each question as you go to help you study. So I'm going to go ahead and start the test. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on a random number, and I'm going to check my answer. And I happen to answer it correctly. Didn't mean to, I wanted to get it wrong, but here's an explanation of why, the correct answer. And if you click on these, it tells you why the choice is incorrect. So that's a nice little nifty tool. What you can also do, I'm going to click on Finish Later. I've already signed in. I'm going to close without saving. I've already signed in and created an account. Hold on just 1 second. And so I'm going to go to my center and show you what it looks like on the back end. So I've done a number of tutorials. I've taken some tests. I've did a tutorial on the GED. I've downloaded some ebooks. And for those of you who might be librarians, or so for those of you who might deal with folks taking GED test, you could actually download the GED book and print it out and give it to one of your patrons or students. And I'll go home and show you how you can get to that. That would be under the High School Equivalency Center. Prepare for your GED test, and they also provide it in Spanish, which is awesome. So you can go down and you can select a practice area. Let's go ahead and look at an ebook. And so you can download the ebook to, again, distribute to a patron if they need help. I have heard, and this has been some years ago, but one of the librarians told me at a public library, she told me, you know, the books that are stolen the most are GED and witchcraft books, which I found kind of odd. But for that particular library, those were the books that went missing most often. So here's where you can get these resources to distribute to your patrons in need. I'm going to go ahead and navigate to college. I'm sorry. Let's go to let's see, college admission tests. So this is great for those students who are practicing for the SAT or ACT. And you can go through and prepare using, you have tutorials, you have tests, and then you have a preparation. You can actually download a ebook to help you prepare. And again, if you scroll down, it opens up for the SAT, it opens up other resources and more resources. So again, there's a lot of resources in here, different areas. Career prep, I'm not going to focus on that, but they do have some exams in there. You can see the ones that are popping out. And this high school equivalency, we touched on that. We looked at the college prep tests. School would be for those in middle school, high school, to help with certain content areas such as math, reading, and then we'll go to college students. They provide resources on math skills, reading skills, and so on. And then you have your adult core skills. So you might have a patron from the public who wants to learn basic math. And then you have your computer skills, and let's go ahead and click on that. And this could be great right now for those, we have a lot of people working from home, parents are working from home, students are working from home, and this might be something you want to highlight to get folks familiar with using the internet. So they have computer basics, internet basics, and what might be good for students and parents is this internet safety, understanding how to be safe on the internet. And then they have a number of resources regarding different Microsoft software. Microsoft is one of the highly used software platforms, and what might be of use to students. We have down here, we've got Microsoft Office 365, PowerPoint, Word, so they have a number of resources. I'm not really familiar with Adobe, but they have some resources in Adobe. And then understanding your operating system. So that would be great. Right now, as we're in this time of the pandemic and people are working from home, to share this information to help them be a little bit more skilled on the computers. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to our second resource, which is Peterson's or Testing Education Reference Center. I'm going to just click on home because I've already been in this today. So here is a Testing Education Reference Center, very similar. They have resources just as they do in Learning Express. But before we get any further, after we get off the call, you're going to wonder, well, I forgot how to do this and I forgot how to do that. Well, if you click on Turk Tutorial at the bottom, you'll be taken to this screen where they provide additional resources. Now, I'm not sure why they didn't bundle everything on this page, but you might need a couple of clicks to go to additional resources. So you can go to, you can browse materials. I'm going to click on marketing materials. Let's go to home. And you can browse the materials by product. So we are in Testing Education Reference Center. And again, the name has changed to Peterson's Test Prep. And you'll see that you get some more resources that help you promote this resource. So they have email templates. They've got some banners that you can post on your website. So there's additional resources on these pages. And then you also have some printable material. Let me just go back up to show you that oftentimes they'll schedule some training tutorials, but let me see if they have any webinars. I did not check to see if there were any webinars scheduled, but you can go to look at different resources, and sometimes they'll have webinars, and it looks like as though they have recorded webinars that you can view too. So this is just another place to help support you when you need help in navigating this resource. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the tab and go back to our home page. And again, we have these different areas: basic skills, high school, career, grad school, international. I'm going to go ahead and click on high school, and I'll go down to SAT subjects and tests. And you have a list of different practice resources. So I'll just do this to show you. And what's nice, they actually have a pretty cool looking interface. So here's this topic area, course contents. Let's see, collapse this widget. So there's practice tests. And you can go through and do a practice test. And it looks as though there's 3 units. So it has my name in here. I can unlimited times I can try this. And you'll see you have different questions. So I'm just going to click on these. I'm not even sure, but you get the idea. But what I want to show you is the interface of my account. So I'm going to go into help and support. Hold on. I've already signed in. Where is my... They have a really nice, let me see if I can, I logged into it earlier. You need to register a login. So I'm going to go back and log in. Let me just log in. Let's go here and I will log out. And it's, I had it open earlier, so I apologize. Just give me 1 second and see if I can get back to the page, because it'll track, it has a nice dashboard that shows you how you're performing, and it has a nice little little widgets that help you look at your I guess the classes you've taken. So I'm going to click on myself and look at my profile. And let's look at my course, my content. So you have some nice features to look at how you're performing. I'm sorry, but it's not showing me the my home screen where I have, it lists all the classes that I've taken. So I apologize. Let me just go to, let me just log out of this. And let's just go back to home. And let me log back in again. Oh, I'm sorry, I logged out. Let me just start from the very beginning. Let me just go to this resource. I'm actually accessing through the state library's website. We have a list also that you can access. We encourage you to go through your public library, but this is always an option. You can go to the state's website, click on OK. And let me go ahead and just click on college. Actually, I'm going to go down to my practice tests. And just show you how this looks. So now I'm being prompted to log in. Okay. And you can log in and you can revisit the test that you're taking or anything that you've saved. I'm sorry, let me click on admin tools. Nope. So that's just one way you can save the resources. I do okay, here's my notifications and here's my progress. This is what I was trying to get to. So it gives you a nice little dashboard of where, where you're at. It keeps track of everything that you're doing, assignments. So it's a really nice way to see everything that you've done. You can tell me when I've logged in. So it's pretty important, to set up an account. You don't have to, but it really does help. And if you have those struggling students, I would recommend that, or struggling patron and they want to keep track of their progress, this could be something that they could use. So Learning Express and Testing Education Reference Center, they're pretty similar in what they provide, and it just depends on what might be a preference for you. And I want to show you one more thing. I'm just going to actually go to the site since we're running out of time. And it's a service that we provide through the state library. So hold on just one second. And it's called our LibTap. We provide a resource. So one of the keys to accessing this information is understanding how to get to the right website. So this is a website we've created, and we provide tech help, free tech help. And it's really simple. You can get help with learning how to use a computer, devices, maybe how to use a database. We've actually had folks call our tech line asking for help on using some of the magazine resources. We have real people. These aren't computers. We have someone who will work with a patron or an individual or a student. And there's a couple of things you can do. You can make an appointment by filling out the form, and someone will call you back. You can also call this line, and you can leave a message and someone will call you back, or you can email. And they can help you with anything. If they can help you, they can help your patrons, and they do have Spanish-speaking digital navigators. So please call them, because I think key to getting to use electronic resources is understanding how to use your computer. How do you get on the internet? How do you find these things? So we're trying to eliminate those barriers, and this is one way you can do that. So please share this information with any and all, and it's free to everyone. And I think that's going to wrap it up. What I will be making the presentation available to you. I'll send out the slides. And if you have any final questions as we are getting to the end, please put that in chat. But other than that, Donna, I am done. Let's see if anyone has any questions.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mary.